I get like a Twitter notification like, oh, this kid just posted. You just like, huh? I just offered this kid. We got these weekly phone calls set up, and all of a sudden, you got amnesia. And I said, excuse me? I wanted to tell him so bad, come and play one of our kids, 1-on-1, 1st to 5, and only going left. Can you beat them? And then you have these kids that are like going these visions like, oh, I talked to the head coach one time. Then why did you go?
Then why did you
Because
go?
they gave you money? Because
Yeah.
the one time we hear the kid is like had locker room issues, we're not taking him at Alabama. Not a shot that's happening. Literally, it's good. You can ask anybody on our team. These are good kids. They don't even go out. I thought they were just like weird. I'm like, do y'all even go to parties?
Where's the college experience? What are y'all doing?
Then we had practice. I was like, oh, y'all about to go have fun? They was like, Zay Green looked at me and said, Coach, we don't do that. I was like, oh, dang. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure y'all are human, honey.
Welcome to It's Just Different podcast, where we bring on people who have been where you're trying to go and or have helped countless athletes get there. Yes, we are virtual this time. Y'all been seeing me in person, but I had to do a special episode because the transfer portal is going crazy and my girl is on Instagram going crazy. Let me back up because y'all be saying I don't introduce myself. I'm your host, Ashley Roberts. Your favorite coach that don't coach. I mean, I'm just coaching the parents, giving them information, and bringing on legends like the one that's with me today to help give y'all information. Coach Love, what name do you go by? Do you go by P Love, Coach Love? What do you go by?
So you know what's funny? Players don't have to call me coach, which is fine. So they'll hit me with the P Love, or it's either P Love or Coach Love.
P Love.
Now at Southern Miss, it was Coach P a lot. So any one of them will work.
I feel it. I think I like the P Love. I like the P Love.
There you go. Okay.
One, I appreciate you for hopping on. So we can knock this
no
episode
problem.
out. I have been enjoying your posts. They all need to be like viral because they are funny. And if y'all have not seen her post, what's your IG?
P Love 55. So P as in Paul, Love 55.
I need y'all to go follow her. I need you to follow her. We start this podcast off with what's different. I think the game of basketball is different, whether good or bad. What would you say is different as it relates to basketball now versus back then? And back then could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the coaching style, right? So, and I'm gonna go back to even when I played, the coaching style is just different than how you gotta coach these girls. And back then, we could take a little bit more. Coaches can really coach us and get after us. And I think in today's world, the world of social media and how prominent it is to women's basketball, it's just a little different. Now kids sit on the bench and they don't have footage of them playing and they want to go somewhere else. It's just easy for them to do so. So like we just got to cater to all sorts of things that you don't want to do. And you just have to do it.
If y'all been watching the episodes, y'all know I don't really do like formal introductions. But P Love is at Alabama. Has been in the game. Is a former player. What made you get into coaching?
So I didn't want to be a coach. I actually wanted to go into computer technology because I'm a nerd when it comes to that. I love electronics, but just want to be around basketball again and hear balls bounce. And I didn't want to get into it because I didn't want to coach players like me. And I knew I had to deal with that.
First of all, what type of player were you?
Crazy. I was crazy. But you know what? I worked hard. I never wanted to disappoint the coach. I was one of those players that never got tired. I can run. And you could discipline me by making me run. I would literally laugh in your face. So I was kind of hard, right? And what people don't know is like when I first got to college, I ran away. So yeah, that's a little fun fact. But I was crazy. I don't want to deal Biloxi, Mississippi. But I was still playing. I was just with my friends at the park because I was academically ineligible when I first got there because I never went to class. But I was just, hooping at the rec center with my people. It was just in Biloxi. That was about 45 minutes up the road.
So you was one of them.
I was one of them. I was one of them.
And then want to coach one of them.
Did not want to do it. I was like, ain't no way I'm putting myself through that. Ain't no way.
And then how did you end up getting into it?
Well, Brooks Donald Williams was at McNeese State, who she's been knowing me since I was like 14, and she had an opening, and she said, "Hey, you want to do it?" At first, I was like, "No," and then it took me about a week or so, and she convinced me to come to Lake Charles, and I've been in it since. So I was there for 1 year,
Mhm.
Southern Miss for 4, Arkansas for 7, and this is going to my second year at Alabama.
Oh, you moving and grooving. I
Moving
like.
and grooving.
First off, congratulations for taking the first step. That first step is listening to this episode. But you need a little bit more. You're looking for a community. Like you're itching for the information. It's one thing to get all of this free information, but you need to be inside a community. I have a community, the different community that is for girls basketball players, parents. We meet bi-weekly. There's monthly drops into the community. You get to ask me questions, and more importantly, the parents get to celebrate with each other. Who wouldn't want some motivation, some celebration along this journey? Join the different community. The link is below. The link is in the description. The link is wherever you're listening to this. Come on and join us and get in the community. Now I like it. I
Yep,
like it. You said something earlier just about social media and just about how kids can be on the bench, not really play, and then they want to move. I want to talk about the transfer portal because it is crazy. I'm on the
it
outside
is.
looking in. Is it worse this year than it was last year as far as the number of
One
kids in the portal?
the number 100%. Yes. And what makes it worse too is that probably 75% of them have agents. So, yeah, to answer your questions, it's worse.
So, and I want to actually break this down because I get a lot of questions. I talk about the portal a lot on social media, and there are some parents that don't even know what the portal is. So, can you like what is
Sure.
the transfer portal, and how
Sure.
does it work?
So, if a player, is unhappy with their playing time and or with the school team, whatever, they can just walk over to administration and ask to go on the portal and explore different options. So it's that simple, that easy. They
Mm,
don't even have to talk to the coach
mm.
about going in. But most do, but a lot of them don't, which is shocking to a lot of people. But for parents that don't know, that it's just as simple as that. And there's no you don't have to sit out anymore. You can literally go in the portal, be in the portal for every year that you're in college. For 4 years, you be at 4 different schools.
It's that
So
easy.
ask me what that is teaching your kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just for you to guess, but that's how it is now.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, okay, and I have these conversations a lot, right? And I don't know how much you can actually talk about this, but
Yep.
there are a lot of I feel like there are a lot of reasons why kids go into the portal.
Sure.
Obviously more money,
Sure.
unhappy. Honestly, sometimes coach might be pushing them into the portal. There's a lot of different reasons, but what are your thoughts as it relates to this portal world now in general?
I think it's so funny because the money and the happiness is intertwined now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are saying that they're unhappy because they're not making enough. Well, now we're teaching these kids what is enough. How do
Mhm.
you know you're trying to stick this six-figure value on yourself when you never dribble the ball,
Yep.
right? So all of that's where my frustration comes in, when they feel like they're worth so much more, especially when you go into the portal and you're trying to argue that the reason you average 6 points or 4 points is because you didn't get the opportunity, right? So, yeah, it's just hard for me to think that a kid is only going in the portal because they were mistreated. I'm not
Right.
telling you that that's not happening. That is happening. I've heard horror stories. I've heard
Mhm.
it, and I wasn't there. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard all those stories about, well, this is what the coach did to me,
Right.
right? And maybe they are trying to make a story to make it sound like that there was a reason for them to leave. I don't know that. I can only go off what a kid is telling me.
Yep.
And sometimes I just open my eyes and just like, is that really happening?
Right.
Because I've never one worked for a head coach ever in my coaching career with some of the stories I have heard. I've never witnessed that in my life. Or like hearing a player, I'm gonna give you an example. Hearing a player say, we have to set an appointment to talk to the coach. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
obviously that didn't happen when you were on your visit because you have this tendency, coaches have these tendencies in schools to roll out the red carpet when they come on their official visit because that's what you're kind of supposed to do. But at Arkansas, Mike Neighbors was just, he was one of those coaches like, yeah, we ain't rolling out no red carpet. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And the cheat code to a lot of that, Nave started the visit off with like, hey, this is how you're going to start your day. We start our day at the dorms and how you work through that day all the way up until the time for you to go to bed. That's how our official visits went. And it's kind of similar here as well at Alabama. And I've, again, worked with bosses that was with the kid every step of the way of the visit. They never took a break. If we're going to the academic center, I'm going to be there. If we're going to go eat, I'm going to be there. If we're going to go do a photo shoot, I'm gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have these kids that are like going these visits, like, oh, I talked to the head coach one time. Then why did you
Then
go?
why did you
Because they
go?
gave you money? That's where we're at, man. And yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about it, but that's just the life of the portal right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like I feel like it's so hard because I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that athletes are going because the coach is a good coach, because they have a relationship. I don't think it's any more of that. It's really just who's gonna give me the most money, right?
Well, yeah, but yeah, because when you got an agent, your agent is talking to you on your behalf, right?
Yeah,
So it's the agent is initiating the conversation. So if I don't have that initial reaction with the coach, interaction with that coach, how can I know that it's authentic or not? Because now it's starting off as a business transaction.
got you.
So like it's just it's weird to begin with, and I'm going into this thing like if you got an agent, I kind of second guess it. But that's why we have three other coaches to make that decision. Because if it was up to me, we probably wouldn't have visits. So that's
So
just me, though.
how are y'all navigating? Obviously, I feel like it's just finding that fine line of like, okay, we gotta go with the times a little bit, but we also gotta do what makes sense, and we gotta
Yep.
win. So how are y'all
Yep.
navigating that when you're personally trying to get some of these kids?
Well, one thing you have to do is when you see a kid go in the portal, you just ask around about him and try to find out. Chrissy is big on character.
Mm-hmm.
And no, when we call coaches, they might say, "Hey, she's a really good kid, really good locker room kid, just wasn't the best fit."
Yeah.
And then we just go from there. Or we get a kid that goes in the portal and said, "Hey, they don't have my degree, my grad degree, and I just want to find something different." Those are things that
Mm-hmm.
we look for. Long as a kid has good character, that's always a good start. Because
Yeah.
the one time we hear the kid is like had locker room issues, we're not taking him at Alabama. Not a shot that's happening. Because honestly, Christy has built a great culture. It's like
Yeah.
some I've never seen. Some I've never. It's literally, it's good. You can ask anybody on our team. These are good kids. They don't even go out. I thought they were just like weird. I'm like, y'all even go to parties? So
Where's the
it
college
was just.
experience? What are y'all doing?
That's what I asked them one time. I said, "Oh, it's Saturday night." No, it was Saturday, and we had practice. I was like, "Oh, y'all about to go have fun?" It was like, Zay Green looked at me and said, "Cause we don't do that." I was like, "Oh, dang. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure y'all are human, honey." So, but we try to recruit good character kids. We're not gonna ever. We're not gonna go after the kids that's in the portal that's averaging 25 points per game, and then you hear bad things about them.
Yeah.
We don't care about that. It
Now,
doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
now let me ask you though. What if some of these coaches are not being honest? What if they saying, "Oh, she got issues in the locker room, or she's this, she's that," and it's not the truth? Like, how do you decipher through that?
Right. So, and that's when you got to have a few different sources. So,
Yeah.
if you start to hear, let's say you got three sources and two of those three are saying the same thing, that's the part that's true. And
Mhm.
sometimes you got to go with your gut, right? Um, but I've heard that coaches are lying on kids because they don't want them to leave.
It's
So
happening.
I know that's a thing, which it was disheartening to hear, right? So you
Mhm.
wouldn't want that to happen to anybody, and you would trust that the coach would be honest with you. But that's when you got to know who's your friends in this business,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? Because if you're going to say, if the kid is leaving, the kid is leaving. Just say, hey, she's leaving, but she was great for us. I'm not sure why she's leaving, but she's a great kid. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. But that's again, when you have you got to have at least three sources. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
Yeah. Now, obviously what these parents want to know, every parent that's listening to this, how is this affecting high school athletes?
Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing because everybody's getting kids out the portal, so everybody now is in the middle of the pack, right? In the pack. They want to be in the middle or the top half of the league. In
Mhm.
order to do that, you got to get some kids in here with some experience. And unfortunately, it ain't a high school kid. I don't
Yeah.
care what you're right now, you're at a point, it doesn't matter that you're the top 5 kid in Texas,
Yeah.
unless you're like Chavez, if I'm being honest. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter at that point because I can go get somebody within the league in the SEC that's averaging 8 points per game that has better experience than the high school kid.
So
That's just it's
what's
a hard pill to swallow for
yeah.
for parents. But when you're at this level in the SEC, I mean, to build a roster around freshmen, it's tough. But I'm not saying you don't recruit them. We signed four of them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, you better have some experience in that portal because the freshmen are not going to be able to do it. Not at our level.
Right. So
It's going to be tough.
what's the solution? And I want to talk, I'm not talking top 50 kids in the country, right? You
Sure.
know, some of these kids, they're going to get what they get. What is the
Sure.
solution for the other athletes?
So my solution would be you better help build a relationship with a college coach quickly and try to make that decision down, get finished early
Mm,
than later. Just because the days of you announcing on the last day, right before signing day, whatever the
yeah.
days of that is over. You do that, I promise you won't have a scholarship because ain't nobody waiting on that. So you better quickly build a relationship with a college coach and get it figured out as soon as you can.
Yeah. So
And that's just asking around too
yeah,
about
so if they
coaches.
commit or sign or commit, if they commit,
Yep.
is that locked in or can a coach come back and say, well, we got
A coach can, but I'm not, once you offer a kid with us, I can't speak for every coach because I know coaches that have done it. Kids that committed and they came back and said, hey, we're going to go in another direction.
mhm,
Which to me, if you get that done early, it's just better because you're just locked in with that school and the bond is tighter because you're constantly talking and wanting to get better and doing all these things. But it, I mean, it's a head scratcher. I'm just telling you.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say. It's just a head scratcher.
Right. Now, moving forward, and I know you just said y'all signed 4 high school
Hmm.
athletes. What does that look like at Alabama as far as portal versus high school recruiting this year?
Yeah.
Like, are
So
y'all
we
focusing
trust.
more? Oh, go ahead.
Well, we're trusting that the kids are gonna come in and we're gonna develop them in the summer and get them ready, right, for the SEC. But in the process, we told them that this is a competitive league.
Yeah.
But that means everything is wide open, though. You come in and you work hard, regardless if it's a transfer kid or not. If you're better than that transfer kid because you worked hard and you caught on a little bit quicker than the transfer did, we're going to play that freshman. So it's
Right.
not like, and I can only speak for Alabama, it's not like we're just going to automatically go with that transfer kid.
Mhm.
We're gonna see who's gonna step up. Because I think we got some pretty good high school kids coming in, right? But
Right.
they know it's competitive. That's why they chose to play in the SEC.
Mhm.
So mentally trying to get them prepared for that. And because when they get here in the summer and they get cleared, it's go time.
It's go time. That is
Go
a
time.
fact. That's a fact. I want to stay
Yep.
on that for a little bit. Like, what is
Yep.
a typical I guess it would be off season. Yeah. What does a
Yep.
typical off season look like once you guys get going?
So once we get going, like we'll start working out. They get with the strength and conditioning coach pretty early. Probably like we'll start here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Just to, he has a whole system of what he does, but we work out early in the mornings. We probably go like at 8:30. And
Mhm.
how it's structured is like the guards will go have their workout first, and we're all out there as a coaching staff, regardless of if that's your position or not. Tennille and I work with the bigs and the
Shout out to
forwards.
Coach T.
Oh yeah, shout
My
out Coach
girl.
T. Coach T mainly with I'm mainly with the wings and the 4 players, and Coach T is with the 5 players, right?
Got you.
And then you got Kelly and Colston working together with the guards, and but we're all out there as a unit, as a staff, and coaching them all together. Um, but they'll go work out. So you have one group go, like the guards would go, and the posts will be lifting, and
Okay.
then it'll flip. And then once a week we'll have a team practice together. And again, it's all skill based, and learning the basic of our offense,
Mm-hmm.
getting the reps in, a lot of shooting, because that's what we do, and getting in shape mainly too. Because we got a lot of our, and what we do too, once we obviously sign kids, we kind of like when it becomes closer to the time that they need to be on campus, we'll give them a workout plan to start on something before
Mm-hmm.
they get in. But we also remind them, you're going to be out of shape no matter what. It does not matter. I don't care if you
Yep.
go and feel like you need to go run 2 miles a day. It ain't going to help.
Yep.
You going to die. You going to die.
You know, it's so crazy. I've talked to just a lot of like freshmen. I actually did a call with freshman parents, and I asked them like, what was the hardest adjustment? Then they say, you feel like you doing all of this, you're gonna be out of shape, and the weights. Them is like
That's
top
it.
two.
That's it. And it's still staying to this day.
Like it don't matter how much running you do, it's just different. Like when you
It
get
is.
on campus, it's different.
I agree.
It
It
truly
is.
is different. Now,
It is.
I've been saying or hearing, and talking to a lot of coaches that are saying they're not going out for April live period.
Yep.
Which again hurts high school recruits. Is that just the cause of the transfer portal? Like, these parents are like, well, if coaches aren't going out, and I think there'll be some coaches out for sure. Like, there's going to be
Sure.
coaches out, but that's another concern of parents. Is like, well, April is a live period, and a lot of these college coaches are going to be hosting transfer portal kids. Like, talk about that a little bit.
So there's two folds to that, right? So there's a lot of different things. Some coaches will go out, right? Some coaches will have transfer portal kids in. That happened to us. That happened to me before at Arkansas. I 2 coaches went out, 2 coaches stayed back because we had kids out.
Yep.
But you have to understand now we're in the world where we don't get a break. So
Hmm.
there's never a time where we can go on vacation, right? So some coaches are just like, we're not going out because my staff need a break or somebody's going to kill somebody, right? So
Right.
we got to go out April, May, June, July. When are we going on a break?
It's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? And so in order to stay sane, you have to at some point take a break, whether that be April, whether that be May, whether that be no one's gonna take off in July because that's just it's just one of the big, months. But other than that, you have to take a break. And the 2 weeks ain't gonna cut it. Out
Hmm.
of 8 months, it just ain't gonna cut it.
Right.
But people are gonna stay back and host visits during that eval period for transfers because they feel like they're more valuable than a 27 and 28.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, I have to agree with that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just that's being total transparent.
Hmm.
And being in the SEC, and we're scheduled to go watch a 27 and 28 kid, but we can host a kid that can transfer us to next week. I'm going with that transfer.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that makes sense. That it definitely makes sense. It's just, and I think parents have to like face that reality. Like, it's not to say
sure.
that you're not gonna get recruited. It's not to say that you're not gonna play in college.
Mm-mm.
But for me, and what I tell parents is, it is to say that you really need to focus on one, what level your athlete is at, what level.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to go to the Alabamas and the Dukes and and all of these different schools and trying to reach out to them, and that's probably not even your level, you know.
Correct.
And I think, to me, that's the biggest thing, because
Mm-hmm.
most of this, when you're talking P4 level teams, like they're gonna go to the portal, right?
Sure. Sure.
And I think that's the biggest issue. Like parents are not realistic with the level that they kid are.
Well, is it the parents or are the parents talking to these scouting services because they got them
Mm.
ranked top 25 in the country? So you can parents are delusional a little bit, but if my daughter it says she's ranked top 25, so why can't she go to these
Mm.
different schools? Why can't she go to Alabama? Right? And
Man,
then
that's
you get to
good.
Alabama, and you're just like, yeah, just not what we need. So in their mind, if I'm telling a parent she's not what we need, they're just thinking, well, that doesn't mean she's not good enough. That's
Right.
not what Alabama need, right? But I mean, you got to be careful with those scouting services too, because that's how I think parents are delusional in that
Now I
side of
agree.
thing.
I
So
agree.
I'm just
Now
saying.
I agree with that. How much do you guys put a emphasis of scouting services?
Um, I probably listened to about 5 of them. Just because I had relationships prior to all of this, even before rankings was a thing. Like Jason Key, Dan Olson, I mean, Harry, and Harry's one of the best with young kids. But just to name a few, those are the people that I'm on the phone with.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Neely with Juco, like I'm on the phone with all the time, and because I build relationships with them, and they're honest with me because I'm honest with them. Like, hey, this is what we need. Can the kid play or not? Yes or no? I don't need no in between. I just know if she can play at our level or not.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I kind of, trust the most. Now, just to name a few, I don't want nobody to get their feelings hurt. That's
Yeah.
just to name a few.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Now when y'all are going to these games, and I want to speak on Alabama and just coaches in general. Obviously, you
Yep.
got coaching friends everywhere at every level.
hmm
What are y'all looking for in these athletes when you're going to a game?
Just a high character kid. You can kind of tell if a player on the court is a good teammate or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one for us, and obviously system, and how we like to play. Obviously, we like to play fast, and we like to shoot it. So a kid obviously has to be able to shoot it. And we would love for all five players on the court to be able to shoot it. So if that's a 6'3", 6'4" kid that can step out and her range is beyond 3-point line, hey, we take that in a heartbeat,
Facts.
right? So you go back to character, obviously all that intertwined with being a great teammate and system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the top. If you have both those qualities, I mean, we can pretty much work with anything and anybody. And we're not scared of development. If a kid is probably a year or two behind, we take that in a heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
because we pride ourselves on skill development. So you
Right.
can't be scared of a little project. That's why we would still recruit high school kids. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to be, and that's what people are scared of. They want kids in the portal because they want to win immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we just can get these high school kids to, this is the issue you're going to deal with. They have to stay in a system more than 1 year.
Yeah.
That's the problem you run into when you get these kids. Oh, the freshman year they didn't play. They
They
averaged,
gone.
they out. But
Yeah.
that's parents too, because I don't know what the kid is telling the parents. And we like to tell our kids, we like to motivate them. Hey, stay the course. You're playing behind 3 draft picks, so it's hard. I'm not. We're asking you to do a hard thing, which is to continue to play hard and clap during games
Right.
and be ready when your number is called, regardless of however that looks. You might not play, and you might do. I don't know. And whenever you do play, it might be 2 minutes. I don't know that, but this is what you're dealing with freshmen. You want to recruit them and you want to get them in, and all of a sudden they out anyway within the year. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of players are just, I mean, a lot of coaches are just like, well, man, I can go to the portal for that.
Right.
At least that kid will be better on the court.
That's a fact. That's a
So,
fact. And you said, a lot of coaches want to go to the portal because they want to win immediately. But
hmm
shoot, don't they need to win immediately? Or
have
their
to,
job
because
might be on the line.
again, that's another pressure that you get, from the AD. But I think if you have a good relationship with your AD and understand, and the ADs now, they're knowledgeable enough to know what's going on in our world, but that pressure is there too.
Yeah.
It's like if you have one down year, that next year you better be in the middle of the pack. You can't go from the bottom to the bottom,
Yeah.
because then they'll just get somebody else. Because everybody wants to win immediately. So that's where we are.
First of all, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for tuning into this episode, but I need you to do me a big favor. I need you to hit the subscribe button. I want this podcast to go out to everybody that has an athlete playing sports, okay? Hit that subscribe button, go ahead and tap that like button, and let's get back to the episode. Yeah, no, that's a fact. And we were talking about, just what you're looking at, look what y'all are looking for when you go to these tournaments. Live period is coming up. We got a few more weeks before we got live period. Can you just first of all talk about the process of even getting to a kid's court? Because a lot of parents feel like, I'll be at Heart of Texas, so that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be at Heart of Texas. It's gonna be 500 coaches there. My athlete is gonna get seen, right?
Yep.
What's that
Yep.
process of even getting a college coach on a court?
So, what's funny, you have your list of kids that you go see anyway. So prior to getting to an event, you have your list. And remember those like the Jason Keys,
Yeah.
those scouting services people that I was telling you about. Like Jason Key will hit me up and have me a list of kids. Hey, you're going to this term. I need you to put your eye on these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have people like Ray Grant, right? He'll go and he'll be standing around on court 97. He'll send you a text. Hey, I'm over here 97. I need you to come check out this kid. And you walk over there. Sometimes it's just word of mouth as soon as you walk through them doors.
That is a fact too.
As soon as you walk through them door, hey, I need you to come check out this kid because you're stuck on your list anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're just following kids around. But what I like to do, and this is just me, if there's an hour or maybe 2 hours in between, I'll kind of skip lunch a little bit and eat a bar and just walk around. I start walking. If I see a kid that passed the eye test, I sit there for a couple minutes and see if they can play or not. Then if not, I just slightly move on to another court.
What's that eye test?
I mean, shoot, somebody look like they about 6'3", 6'2", can put it on the
Yeah.
ground a little bit. I'm gonna check and stop a little bit
Wait, hold
and
on.
try
Who is
to.
this?
Yeah, I just need to make sure. And like, is she already? How I pull out that book. How old is she? Oh, she a sophomore. Then I'm gonna take a little seat real quick. Then the problem is, if somebody see you over there sitting on court 89, they're gonna look like, let me see what you over here looking at. I've done that, so I get it. I've done that.
Yeah. Now, what are
Yeah.
some mistakes you feel like parents make as it relates to just navigating their athlete's journey?
Just getting caught up in, and this is just, I'm just being honest. They're getting caught up in all these offers, meaning they want to go for as many offers as possible instead of just finding the right fit for your kid. How about learning a system or a team system and say, hey, this will be perfect for my kid. There's no reason for a kid to be having 25,000 offers and you want to go take 25,000 visits. You get what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes parents get so caught up in the process because they didn't have that attention when they were that age. So, oh, I want my baby, my man, this is my baby time to shine, man. Look,
Yeah.
coach, she got 45 offers coming out of high school. Okay. And you're
She can
just
only go
like,
to one school.
exactly. I think if parents just can calm down, not get so caught up in just finding the right fit for that kid, it doesn't matter if the kid is SEC, Conference USA, it doesn't matter, right? So you need to find the best fit for your kid. Now, if you would rather for this is what parents get caught up into. They would sometimes rather for their kid to sit on a Power Five bench when she could have went to a Conference USA school, Sunbelt school, and been the star, right?
Yep.
Because it's all about the image and the name and all that. And that kid could have been very well happy at that other school. And they'll eventually circle back around and when they get done with their tour of schools, and then they end up in being at a Sunbelt school and being so much more happier and wish they would have been there in the first place.
Right.
So
100%. I mean, they love it's just the graphic world. You get that offer,
yeah,
that
man.
graphic is up in 5 minutes.
It show as soon as you but now sometimes coaches ask for it, but as soon as you get off the phone, I get like a Twitter notification like, oh, this kid just posted, and you just like, huh? Man, I just offered this kid. And this that meaning because sometimes that a kid is gonna go on the port. I mean, not the portal. A kid is gonna call. You set up this call, and you let the coach know, hey, I'm gonna offer this kid. Can
Right.
you get her to call me? So they're already building the graphic, and I'm just like, all right, but you know what? I like it and I retweet it. That's it.
Facts. Now, and I am before we move on, because I don't want nobody thinking like I don't think it's anything wrong per se with posting the graphics, right? Like,
Sure,
hey, go
sure.
celebrate. But sometimes I feel like that's all they care about. Like, I need this school to offer so that I can post it so everybody can know that I got this offer. And you're not even interested in the school.
Yeah, and won't talk to the school again.
Won't have another conversation.
We got these weekly phone calls set up, and all of a sudden, you got amnesia. Did you just want the offer just so you can say you got the offer? Like that has happened more times than not, I'm just telling you.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like, man, that's just just move on.
Now, do you feel like a lot of people do that? I call it like offer stacking. Like, let me get these offers so that this school can see that these certain schools
100,
offer me.
100%. And we'll let a kid know too, especially if you go and be the first Power 5 offer. We let them know, just letting you know, as soon as we offer you, it's gonna be about 10 other schools that offer you because we did it.
And just hey, set up the car and we offering. Ain't even really seen the kid.
I ain't even seen it. That's the crazy part. And now I always go back. Now, did I see anybody from this school at this game? I know I didn't. The tournament was a 1-day event when nobody from your staff there. So how did you all of a sudden see this kid? But that happens.
They didn't. They didn't see the kid.
Nah, nah, nah.
Man, I think our first interaction was last year. Yeah, last year at Juco tournament.
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, last year at Juco tournament. A ton of D1 coaches there. These parents don't think that coaches are at these Juco events. Can you just talk about just the benefits of going Juco?
Oh well, they must know now. It's gonna be transfer portal JUCO high school, or
Absolutely.
it's gonna be JUCO transfer portal high school. And for me, I'm gonna try to get two JUCO kids a year, 1 or 2 JUCO kids a year.
Ooh.
And
Why?
that's just being because they're developing their coach chart at the JUCO. You get somebody from JUCO, that's like getting somebody, and I'm a JUCO product myself, so I'm not saying
Hey,
something
me
that I
too.
didn't witness.
Me
Listen,
too.
if you can go to JUCO and make it, baby, you can go anywhere. And them kids are well coached and ain't gonna complain about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have that 2 years of playing in college. You get what I'm saying? So college coaches are at JUCO biz. I can promise you I'm gonna be at one every year. 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
This is the first year I think I didn't go to JUCO Nationals because we had an official visit in.
Uh
But I watched it online. I sure did.
yeah. And I don't think it's passed yet, but do you know where they are with the rule? Because that's a rule where you can still come out of JUCO and still have those
Yes.
2 years.
Correct. You can come out of JUCO, even getting those 2 years experience and getting your credits up however you got there. I know how I got there. I ain't had no grades. But now it doesn't count against you.
So is
So
that
now
officially
that's
passed?
still, you know what? I think it did. I
Yeah,
think it
okay.
did. But so now you got high school kids working up against that too.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go recruit a JUCO kid who was there. Now this is a kicker. You get a qualifier that went to JUCO for 1 year, and that's like getting a freshman
Yes.
because that year didn't count against him.
Yeah, I'm always like I'm an advocate of JUCO, and I do believe that you have to go to the right JUCO, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
so how do we help these parents understand what's the right JUCO?
I would say you gotta try to go to a JUCO where a coach has been established for a long time.
Mhm.
So my prime example, I'm gonna give one because I just talked to him yesterday. Collin County, Jeff Allen. That's my
Hey,
dog.
Jeff, he
Listen,
was on my podcast. Yeah, that's a good one.
that is my dog. He's been there for so long. I can call him and we could talk for a long time. And I will send anybody to him because
Mm,
he's real. He coaches them hard. If you place a kid there, you have a relationship coach, I got you. I'm gonna take care of your kid and I'll get him back to you. Like somebody like that, that's a veteran in this business. Because if you get a new coach, and I'm not knocking no new coaches, but they have to figure out the lay of the land.
yep.
They just got to figure it out and make sure that that's what they want to do and where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But a coach that's just been established and been there for 15 plus years, like I'm probably gonna go with that coach.
Yeah. Does talent of the team matter? Like if it's a good team?
No, right? Because JUCO, it's a revolving door, right? So they could have up and down years every other year. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So no, because they can be good one year, bad another year, and then good again. So I don't think, long as the coach is a good coach, to me, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Good coaching relationship sounds like.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Now, I might make a few people mad here, but I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
Is it better for if the goal is D1, right? And not only the goal, but the kid can actually has the potential to play D1 and for whatever reason got missed out on, whatever. He's just not getting that. Is it better for that kid to go JUCO or is it better for that kid to go D2?
Personal opinion, JUCO.
Same.
That's
Same.
just me. JUCO.
I just feel like, and again, I'm not the college coach here. I talk to a ton of college coaches. I feel like there are so many opportunities when you go, so many events that college coaches can go to. Whereas D2, I mean, I have not heard a D1 coach say, oh, I'm gonna go to this D2 event. Now they might go to like the championships and things like that. But I feel like at the JUCO level, there are multiple events and opportunities for these D1 coaches to go lay their eyes on them.
Oh, 100%. I've never, since I've been coaching, even looked at a D2 kid.
I don't
And I get the landscape of recruiting is changing, but I've never done it.
even now.
Never done it. Mm-mm.
And in the portal, if a D2 kid gets in a like, how does that work? Is if a D2 kid is in a portal, does it like is there like a specific portal for D2 kids or is it all in one portal? What does that look like?
So no, yeah, you can log onto your portal and you can. There's a little arrow you can click on and say Division Two, and you can look at those kids that are in the portal and see. Man, and a lot of coaches too. I think it's a lot of mid major because I just saw a D2 kid signed to a school, a Division 1 school. I can't even tell you who it was, but you can look, and I'm sure they're looking at those stats and see where that kid
That's
ranks. That's just what it is. I've just never done that, and I don't foresee myself doing that.
right.
Now that could turn around and bite me in the butt, but I'm probably gonna go to JUCO over that any day.
Right. And then I think that and you just said it, I think that if you go D2, you
Mm-hmm.
have to put up numbers. Like you got to be averaging 20. Like you have to put up high
20
numbers.
plus, 20 plus, and if you're big, it better be a double double all day.
Like you have to. JUCO, I don't think that you necessarily have to do that. Like,
No, you get JUCO kids that's averaging 12 and 12,
yeah.
10 and 10.
Yep.
I take that over a Division 2 school. That's just me. Again, that's just me.
Yeah, I'm JUCO all day. I just think that, and that is if the goal is to get to the Division 1 level, right?
Sure.
Just because you can get
Absolutely.
these coaches to see you, and I'm not saying like if any of y'all athletes and parents you listen, you got athletes, getting looked at by D2s. At the end of the day, my ultimate goal is D free. I say that all the time.
That's right. That's
So
right. That's
D
right.
free. But
Yes,
listen, whether that's D2, I don't care where it's at. Free school.
it's free. That's it. That's it. I agree with that.
Yeah, we gotta go free. But I get that a lot. I have a lot of parents like, well, I don't know if I go D2 or JUCO. I'm gonna always say JUCO. That's
Me
just
too. Somebody asked me that. I'm gonna say JUCO all day.
you just get more opportunities. What is
Absolutely.
what is one myth or yeah, I'll say myth that you see as it relates to this transfer portal?
That you need an agent.
You don't think that people need an agent?
Mm, No, you better have the right agent because what you're getting into, if these agents are calling my phone, prime example, because I'm a living witness of it. Talk to an agent. You're talking. I was like, hey, I like the kid. I think she's great. I think she's good for our system. It's like, hey, coach. Her asking price is $250,000.
Like that real life happened.
Oh, 300,000 that happened. And I
What?
said, excuse me?
Love, you
And I wanted to
lying.
tell them so bad. And I got this from T. Come and play one of our kids, 1-on-1, 1st to 5, and only going left. Can you beat them? And I feel like I didn't ask this agent this, but I felt like the reason that number was so high because of what they're charging, the percentages they're getting from the kid.
Yeah.
So when I say
300,000?
I don't know what person is worth that much in the transfer portal. I don't care. 300,000 is crazy. And so I'm just like, yeah, no, like I think we're good. Especially if kids not even averaging a double-double. I think we're good.
You. Like,
Thanks,
these
but
people
no
was out
thanks.
here asking like that?
Now, unless you have an agent that's your mom or dad, because ain't no parent gonna ask for that number. They just want to make sure that their kid is good when it comes to like a contract or what their kids are signing. I get that, but when I got a random agent company calling me and trying to $300,000,
just like your video.
that's like something I ain't never witnessed or seen, and I make fun of videos on IG, but that actually happened.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So I think to me that's a myth. You don't have to have an agent. And honestly, sometimes when I see these random agents inboxing me about a kid, I'm just like, no thanks.
So if they don't have an agent, who's if they don't have an agent, who's negotiating this? Should it be the parent or should it be?
We go back to the days where your parents are taking care of the kid?
Yeah.
The parents can get some advice from somebody else.
Right.
It does not necessarily you have to hire somebody because they're taking 20% of your money anyway.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, what happened to the days of parents or guardian or coach or somebody getting involved that's closer to you that actually cares about the kid? That's
Right.
my whole point. You hiring somebody that is working for a company
Makes sense.
that you
Okay,
ain't
now
never met.
okay, that makes sense.
You get what I'm saying? You ain't never met this dude. He worked for this company and you don't know this person.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
So
saying?
so that's what's happening.
There ain't no way the agent that I talked to, then the girl that he trying to, they ain't got no key. Ain't no way. There ain't no way. Now I could be totally wrong, but there ain't no way. No, ma'am.
Not the
No,
one you
ma'am.
was on the phone with.
Nah. That right there was a business transaction, and I'm not telling you the kid might get it somewhere. It just
It
wasn't gonna
won't
be
be.
Alabama. Nah, that ain't.
Ooh.
Not doing that. Mm-mm.
So how do
But
they
more power to you.
how okay. That's funny. Okay. So how so many questions. One, are you turned off when you do? Let's just say it's mama calling you and they I don't want to say lead, but I do want to say lead. Kind of lead with how much money am I getting? Are y'all like turned off by that or like what does that look like?
No, because that's the new norm now. So
Yeah.
I would rather know the money up front to
Mhm.
see if that's what we want to give a kid anyway, or even is that if that kid is worth it. I would rather know as soon as you say hello. Hey, as soon as you say hello, I just want you to say $100,000. Okay,
Bro, stop.
that's it. Now some people are different, right? Because if you build a relationship with the kid, and then it all comes down to, oh, we didn't talk about the money part of it, and they ask you for this big amount,
Yeah.
and you gonna be like, oh no, oh no. So I'd rather as soon as you say hello,
Give me the number.
$50,000. Okay, that's it. That's it. Just let me know right then and there.
Give me the
So
number in the first sentence.
that's right, and I'm not opposed to that. I'd rather that all day, every day. That's just
Mm.
me. That's all
50,000.
I'm
Six.
saying.
Just tell me.
Fit, tell me right then. You don't have to say hello. Just allow me to do that for you. I got you.
So the money.
And that
So parents or whoever that's kind of going with the money. That's really not an issue. What
no.
what do turn y'all off from recruiting a kid?
Well, honestly, just if you go in the portal and then you start to talk to a kid and then they're just constantly they'll come back, hey, coach, this is the number, and then you talk. I'm like, oh, okay, and I just want to win, coach, or whatever. Then they
Mm-hmm.
come back with you to you a couple days later, coach. I really like the school, but this other school offer me. They get in that bidding war. No,
Mm.
ma'am.
So y'all not doing the bidding wars.
No, ma'am. No, man. Ain't nobody doing that.
P,
Ain't
what if
nobody.
it's a
Ain't
kid? What
nobody.
if it's a kid that y'all really want?
I don't care because especially if it's a younger kid that's like a sophomore or a junior, that's going to be a constant thing. They're
Yeah,
gonna hold you by the neck. The next year you're gonna have to give them some more and some more and some. Who doing that? And your production has been like this. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's just been like this. So nah, like just the inconsistency. Because if we're the school that you like and everything was perfect, and you're gonna come back to us for money, I don't like that.
yeah. Now, so how does that work with? And I mean, you can. I'm gonna stay away from that. Never mind. I'm not gonna even ask that question.
Okay, okay,
I do
okay.
want to ask though. I do want to ask, as far as like kids getting money
Yeah.
and then they not producing. Like, how does that line up? I'm gonna ask that question.
So yeah, I mean, that's just like if I come into any job and they offer me this money and I get in and they see that I'm not the person that they thought it was, it's kind of like relying on your resume.
Yeah.
But that's just like as coaches, you got to do your homework early of can this kid really fit in our system and can this kid help us?
Yeah.
Because it's not that kid's fault that you're dishing out all this money to this kid and all of a sudden they're not what they're supposed to be. You should know that.
Mhm. Yeah.
As a coach, you should know if that kid now it'd be different. The kid just got here and just decided to do nothing and just sit on their butts. And no, you can't get rid of a kid for performing less than what you thought they would, do. But that, to answer your question, ain't nothing you can do about it. That's
If
just
y'all
like
agreed on
going out.
the money is it
That's
is
it.
what it is.
That's it. That's it. I probably give you another prime example because I just did this. I went out and I bought a new car, a Lexus. And I knew it was a mom car. I didn't really like it, but I took it anyway, right? Because that car was gonna last me for 20 years,
Yeah.
right? But I was driving it around, and it just gave me soccer mom car. But I knew what I had was gonna last a lifetime, a long time. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there driving it, paid all this money for a car that I really didn't like, or that's just not for me.
Yeah.
And so I eventually got another car the next couple months. That's just like what I feel like some teams are doing is you get this kid and it's not really what you thought, and you just go back in the portal and find
And
somebody
find
that's quote
somebody.
unquote better.
But
That's just my example.
But you know, like where okay, I know obviously where a lot of like the money and all of that is coming from, but in totality, like where's all this money coming from? Like if you got this kid, you giving 20, this kid 20, this kid 30, like where's the money coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. School's gonna go broke. That's gonna be another thing. You gonna get
Like
these schools going broke. You see me online begging for money for taking donations. I need to put my cash app up there because baby,
please
that's
put
the
the
only way
cash
we
out.
gonna make it.
Put the
And I
cash
do feel
out
bad
there.
for. Feel bad for some of these schools that actually, because I feel like some schools are either gonna drop Division 2 or just bankrupt because you can't afford it.
I saw who was that? Somebody just dang, who was that? Someone
I
just
think that
dropped.
went Division 2. Was it Saint Francis or Saint
Yes, I think
something
it
like
was St.
that?
Francis. Or
Yeah.
it was I just seen that. And
Yeah. So it was
I told somebody like a lot of schools are gonna drop
I I'm trying
divisions.
to find it. I think it was damn.
Find it for me.
I think it was Saint Francis though. I could be totally
Let me
wrong.
see. I think it was.
But it was one of them because you know how I saw it is I saw a kid on TikTok making a video of
Are
some
them making a
trending
turn?
sound. Yes, 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 yes. I think it was St. Francis. I think that's what it was.
Like these schools are, and people keep saying, "Oh, they got the money. They got the money." Or if they want, they gonna find it. It's only so much
Yes.
money. Like, where I'm
Well,
gonna find it?
that's what people don't like to talk about because a lot of schools don't want to say that they broke. Are you broke? Are you broke, or is just you got a team full of $500,000 kids that you couldn't afford?
Yes.
So what are we talking about? And again, we try to find those kids that's in between, not these top kids, not these bottom, the kids that's in between that want to be at Alabama and want to win and want to be a better person after college. We're
Right.
still selling that. I work for an old school coach, and we're going to continue to sell that because that's who she is.
Right.
Right. And so just good quality kids, man. And that's just not too caught up in the money.
Yeah.
So that's just me. So
Yeah.
because again, just like my job, like I'm sure I disappointed my boss before once before.
Right.
It's gonna happen with those kids, but you can't get mad at the kid because you overpaid a kid. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I know some schools that has like tier systems, right? And you essentially will give you, this is your base salary, this is what you're gonna make.
Base
It's up to
salary
you.
is crazy.
Listen, it's up to you
Mm-hmm.
to decide. It's up to you to decide how much you're gonna get because it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna go be based off your performance. So if you're freshman of the year, you might get a bonus. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
player of the week, we'll give you a bonus. If you stay the second year, you'll get a $10,000 pay increase. Third year, we'll give you a $20,000 pay increase. Stuff like it's like a tier system, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But that's a team that's like teams that are doing it are teams that's in the top five. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
somebody like us, we ain't got no tier system over here.
But
We got
do you feel like that now turns the athletes to now I gotta get mine?
oh yeah, but like that's an argument with that because they feel like they got to get theirs and play a lot of individual basketball is what you're saying, right? This
Yeah.
one-on-one game. Yeah, it could honestly get to that point. And I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that, but I think that worked out itself, right? Because if
Yeah.
your team is winning, all that stuff will eventually work itself out. But that is a good point with saying that
Yeah, I just
for
feel
sure.
like, man, that makes sense though. But I'm just like, all right, if I know if I get freshman of the week, for a freshman of the week, got to put up some stats. So in order
Facts.
for me to
I
do
agree with
that, I
that.
got to put up some shots.
I agree with that for sure. For
But
sure.
that's interesting. But you do like the tier system.
100%. If we could do that, I would. If we the NCAA to give us a rule and say everybody has to do this, I would be so much more happier
Why?
because now it's on an even playing field.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same base salary because we got employees.
Facts.
Shoot,
Facts.
everybody got the same base salary, and whatever, however you perform and however you work, that's money you gonna get. Like I've worked myself from making a base salary of $23,000. 23.6 is what I made.
hmm
Now I'm in six figures because this is where I worked. This is I've been in the game now 14 years.
Right.
So it's just I worked my way up and with the Lord, thank you, Jesus. But that's how I've became successful. You got to start somewhere and then
Mm,
you can eventually finish ahead.
I feel it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
parents, I hope y'all done got some value from this, some information from this. I again need y'all to follow Coach Love's IG. Tell them the IG page again.
P Love 55. And look, y'all can inbox me. I try to get to my inboxes as quickly as possible. And if you catch me on the internet, I promise I'll write y'all back if y'all have questions for me. And no, your kid might not be at the level, SEC level, but I'm not opposed to talking to any parent from the division 2, 3, Juco. It does not matter. I just want to help kids.
Mhm.
Even if you say, Coach, my kid is not good enough for Alabama, but can you help her get looks at a Southern Miss because that's where I played,
Mhm.
right? I'm not opposed. I want to be able to help the kids.
Yeah.
So, parents, if you want to get in the inbox, I got you. I got you.
I feel that, man. If you can leave with just one piece of advice to these parents, what is one piece of advice you would give to parents as they help navigate their athlete's journey?
I would say just parents just listen when you go on these official visits, observe and ask a lot of questions just to get to know who your daughter will go play for.
Mhm.
Because I think that's so important, and just having this open honesty with coaches because kid, I ain't gonna lie, kids they ain't gonna tell the full truth to parents. But if a parent is comfortable enough of going to the head coach and, hey coach, my daughter is struggling. I need to know what's going on because she's telling me she's just not getting playing time. Well, then that coach is like, you know me, you got a great relationship. That girl ain't been to extra workout in 2 months. She didn't tell you
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Yeah.
So it's that open honesty. Just get to know coaches and feel comfortable with coaches to where all you got to do is make a phone call, to help your daughter navigate your daughter through this, monstrosity of a college world, man. I'm just saying.
Listen,
So that
man,
if I had to
Wild
get a
Wild
piece of
West.
advice, man, that's my advice I have to give to parents. Just get to know these coaches.
I love it, man. I appreciate you for hopping on.
Ashley, no problem. Anytime you need me, I got you.
Yeah, we definitely like. I just like the energy. We need a part two. We're gonna do a
Oh
part
yeah, I
two
got
one
you.
of these days. But I definitely appreciate you for hopping on. Make sure y'all subscribe. Subscribe to the channel because y'all are watching. But I need you to subscribe. Why? So that other parents can hear this. Like every parent needs to
That's right.
hear information like this. Make sure y'all like. Make sure y'all follow Apple, Spotify, and if you're not following on Instagram, I really don't know what you're doing. Follow the page. It's just different pod.